Welcome to the Yukon and North 61.
So, this is it's supposed to be a fall camp, but at -11 and lots of snow, it's kind of more winter camping. And you think, hey, winter camping would be kind of nice to have a cabin and a wood stove. Well, obviously you can't bring a cabin on your back, but we have something. We have wood heat.
Got gear behind me drying, so went looking for sheep and just totally in the wintertime, well, not winter, it's October, but when you get high, there's snow everywhere now. So I tried to go, I've been in this place a number of times and I have got to know the trails pretty well. I totally missed the trail. I went where somebody else was walking, so we ended up getting cliffed in. We couldn't go any higher. We didn't get to where we wanted to go. So we decided to make the best of it. And on this trip, I thought we might stop in the Sub Alpine and then go to the Alpine. But the Sub Alpine is kind of stopped us because we had cliffs behind us. Would have needed to backtrack to find the notch that you go up and just ran out of time. So we decided to give the Silex by Seek Outside a good test. And I used it along with my titanium goat cylinder stove and the titanium pipe. 8 feet pipe, it's probably more than that needs, but it was really, really good for not getting any sparks. I had a spark arrestor on it. I ended up taking the spark arrestor off because it got all filled with stuff, and I didn't need it because everything was burning in the pipe because the pipe's long enough. So I think I'm going to stick with that 8 feet of pipe. Altogether, the width pad, this is a 30-ounce shelter with the sleeping piece of ground cloth that I had, and also it's about a 28 ounce stove system, so 50 ounces or so for a wood heated stove. The Silex is good for one. You sleep on the diagonal next to the stove. You got 2 vestibules. I ended up sleeping there. I tried to make do in the 2-man bivvy with my wife, and it was just too confining. I couldn't stand it, so I got up and moved over. And the surprising thing to me is there was no condensation. I've had a lot of trouble with pyramids before. I stopped doing this because of the condensation. And because the tent is a little bit high, if you're in a sheltered area, it's no problem. You get enough air going through that condensation was minimal. And of course, having the stove on every once in a while, every 2 or 3 hours, I'd wake up and put some more fire on the stove just to take the chill off. And I had a -4 sleeping bag, and it got down to -15, and I was fine, except I needed a better pillow because I had to put my coat on. So then I lost my pillow, and that was miserable. So then I had to find found objects as a pillow. So I came back and ordered a pillow. I don't care. I'm going to take the extra 3 ounces for a pillow. So this is a little video on the Silex and the old titanium goat. Titanium goat's out of business, which is unfortunate because they're a real innovator, but there's other companies that make similar stuff. And if I was to do it over again, I'd either bring a Wyoming saw, or when you have lots of time, you can just take this little blade and you can make a little what are these called? Whatever these saw, buck saw. I made this with Morris Kohansky. And the other thing I would bring is a sturdier knife. I just had my little hunting knife. I'd bring something like this, which is the Collins, is it Walter Collins knife? I forget what he calls that, but it's a great hunting knife, and it's also a strong enough knife to baton, because really what you need is sticks about that thick to give you some burning time. I was getting a lot of sticks that big and a few big sticks. The big sticks would burn for 20, 25, 30 minutes. I didn't have to tend the fire. Those little sticks, I had to tend the fire all the time, but it was still so nice having some heat. There, and there's our breaking stomping post. And there, we're making little logs for the fire without having to carry anything. So there's always a way to do stuff. So as a hunting trip, this was a bust, but it was a really fun camping trip, and my wife was comfortable, especially when I left her to the 2-man bivvy all by herself, where she had room to spread out. It's a good 1-man tent. 2-man tent. It's just killer. The Silex, you could put 2 people in there. With one of them is short. Like my wife's 5'5", she could have slept right beside me. We would have been fine. But as it is, I just slept in there by myself, and it was palatial. So a really good shelter. I'm really impressed with it.
Here's our shelter for the night. It's a bivvy. We call it the coffin, but you know, it's looking pretty good.
It's going to get cold tonight, so we stopped a little early to collect lots of wood. And once again, we probably didn't get high enough. But
here's our shelter, all set up. Hey, Greg.
oh, Jane.
Just putting together our stovepipe.
Yeah, it's a little...
Greg's making the fire. Wow, impressive.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And the fire's going. It's a good sight. Okay, this is really impressive. What's the name of this shelter again?
This is Silex,
Silex.
so I might sleep in here.
No, I mean...
You can go in the coffin.
Yeah. Look at this. It's like it's like being in a wood cabin. And here we are backpacking on our fall/winter backpacking trip. And we have wood heat. And it is really nice.
It's about 6 degrees outside, so
Minus
minus
6.
6.
It's minus 6 degrees. And it was minus 11, and it's going down. It'll be colder soon. Right now, minus 6 is like the heat of the day.
And because this is a fairly small, low shelter, it really heats up quickly. And like I'm gonna have to take my coat off. And that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
And the other thing is we've got it tucked into, Jane will show you where we're at. We're tucked into a little stand of spruce.
Yep.
We got some flat rocks and put this on flat rocks so that we don't ignite the duff. And put some boughs under there, so it's basically sitting on a thing of rocks. And yeah, this little stove really heats this place up in a hurry. Going off. Woo.
Hey, Greg. Greg's making supper in our little hot place.
Want shepherd's pie, or do you want mandarin beef and rice?
I think shepherd's pie. Good morning. It's 10 to 8. We've had a morning coffee and been hanging out in our kitchen tent, having a little wood fire. And it's a beautiful morning. Sunrise. Now we have to say goodbye to our great campsite and we're packing up. Okay, starting our descent down.